I never imagined a simple night with my friends could change my life forever. It started innocently enough. A casual hangout at Jake's place, a few drinks, laughter, and dares that seemed harmless at the time. I'm Arav, 22, an ordinary college student balancing coursework and a part-time job at a local cafe. On most days, I'm reserved, careful, and far from the center of attention. But that night, I let curiosity and peer pressure steer me into uncharted territory. Jake, notorious for his wild streak, proposed a game of truth or dare. I laughed along, assuming nothing serious would come from it. But then he smirked, his eyes glinting with mischief. "Arav," he said, leaning forward, "I dare you to become a girl, just for tonight. Full transformation. Hair, makeup, clothes, the works." Laughter erupted around the room. I chuckled nervously, thinking he was joking. But Jake's gaze was sharp, confident. No backing out. You lose, you play along. Everyone's watching. My friends egged him on, and the room buzzed with anticipation. I felt a mix of disbelief, curiosity, and, oddly, a flicker of excitement. Could I actually do it? Would it even be possible? The thought of being fully transformed scared me. My identity, my masculinity, my carefully constructed image, everything would be put to the test. I'd always admired girls' confidence, the way they carry themselves, the freedom in expressing themselves through clothing and makeup. But becoming someone else entirely, under duress, was a different challenge entirely. We set the stakes clearly. If I succeeded, the laughter and teasing would end, and I could walk away unscathed. If I failed, the dare dictated I spend the evening completely as a girl, attending a local party that Jake had somehow arranged for the same night. My heart thudded, mind racing. Fully her. What did that even mean? Could I pull it off? We began preparations. Jake's older sister, confident and teasing, helped me pick out an outfit. A delicate dress, soft fabric hugging curves I didn't know I had, and high heels that threatened to throw me off balance with every step. My hands shook as I slipped into the dress. The fabric felt foreign, intimate, and intoxicatingly delicate. Fully her, my mantra, a mental anchor, whispered with each adjustment. Next came the makeup. I'd never worn anything beyond casual concealer before, but tonight, brushes, colors, and powders transformed my reflection. Foundation, eyeliner, mascara, blush. Every stroke amplified the duality of identity. I looked in the mirror, seeing a stranger, yet a version of myself that was oddly familiar. Fully her. My heart raced, excitement mingled with terror. Could I maintain this persona outside the confines of my room, among friends and strangers alike? Hair was next. Jake's sister twisted, curled, and styled until my short, messy hair became cascading waves framing my face. Each strand whispered a challenge. Embrace this transformation fully, or falter. The mirror reflected not just a new appearance, but a new self. Fully her. Was I ready? As I practiced walking in the heels, every wobble and step became a test of control and poise. Each movement demanded focus, attention, and balance. The sensation was alien, yet thrilling. Every step reminded me of the stakes, of the dare, and of the eyes that would soon scrutinize my every gesture. Fully her. This wasn't just a dare anymore. It was a lesson in vulnerability, in courage, and in identity. The time to leave approached. My friends cheered, laughing, egging me on. Jake's grin was triumphant, almost predatory. Fully her, I stepped out of the apartment, heels clicking on the pavement, heart racing with anticipation. Each glance from passers-by felt magnified, every whisper, every look, a potential threat to my carefully constructed illusion. Could I really convince them, and myself, that I was her, even for a night? The party awaited, loud music, strangers, and the pressure of maintaining the persona under constant observation. Every laugh, every conversation, every movement demanded vigilance. Fully her, poise, elegance, confidence, vulnerability, all wrapped into a single fragile performance. One misstep could unravel everything. Emma, my best friend and a constant in my life, was also there, unknowingly setting the stage for emotional tension. Her presence meant more than observation. It meant judgment, curiosity, and the potential for admiration or criticism. Fully her, my actions, gestures, and words had to navigate her attention, the dares, and the crowded party simultaneously. As I entered the room, feeling the eyes of the party settle on me, fully her, I realized the night had already begun. Each movement, each word, each laugh was a test, a challenge, and a thrill all at once. Could I survive the evening without faltering? Could I maintain the illusion of confidence and femininity while the pressure, fear, and excitement mounted? Fully her, my heart whispered, and I stepped deeper into the unknown, ready for the night that would change everything. I moved through the crowd, adjusting the dress, smoothing my hair, and forcing a casual smile. Then, from across the room, I saw him, the one who had escalated the dare from a simple joke to a life-altering challenge. His gaze locked on me, calculating, knowing, and my chest tightened. Fully her, every heartbeat screamed the same question. Could I survive this night without exposing the secret I hadn't even fully discovered myself? The music thumped through the party, bass vibrating through the floor as laughter and chatter filled the room. I navigated through the crowd, heels clicking with every cautious step. Fully her, this mantra anchored me, reminding me to maintain poise and elegance despite the pounding of adrenaline and the strange vulnerability of my new form. Jake's eyes followed my every move, a smirk playing on his lips. He knew I was nervous, knew that each glance from strangers heightened my anxiety, and yet, part of me couldn't deny the thrill. Fully her, my body moved with practiced grace, adjusting to the unfamiliar sway of the dress, the balance demanded by the heels, and the delicate weight of confidence I had to project. I approached a small group of people laughing near the punch table. My voice, soft and measured, joined the conversation seamlessly. Fully her, every syllable, every inflection, had to be convincing. The subtle fragrance of perfume and the shimmer of light makeup combined to create the persona I was now inhabiting. A few glances of curiosity met me, but no one challenged the illusion. Relief washed over me, but only briefly. Then came the first real test. Jake nudged me, whispering, "Go on, flirt a little. Show them fully her." My stomach churned. Flirt? With strangers? Fully her, grace, poise, subtle charm. I took a deep breath, letting the persona guide my movements. A slight tilt of the head, a soft laugh, careful eye contact. Hearts raced, mine and, perhaps, theirs. The thrill of performing this dual role was intoxicating. Fully her, my inner conflict remained, a tight knot of fear, excitement, and anticipation. Each step, each word, each gesture demanded careful balance. Could I keep up this act without faltering? Could I protect the secret while engaging in the social performance demanded by the dare? Emma appeared across the room, her presence both comforting and terrifying. Fully her, every glance, every smile, had to navigate her attention. I forced a casual wave, my heartbeat quickening as she approached. "Wow, you actually went through with it," she said softly, a mixture of admiration and curiosity in her tone. Fully her, grace under pressure, poise amid scrutiny. I nodded, forcing a smile that felt both genuine and rehearsed. The next challenge came swiftly. Jake leaned close, whispering, "There's a photo booth. Go take a picture with them." Fully her. Panic surged, but excitement shimmered beneath it. Fully her, confidence, elegance, and subtle allure. I approached the booth, careful steps measured, hands steady despite inner turmoil. The strangers inside smiled, unaware of the dare's stakes, and I posed, practiced gestures, soft laughter, the perfect balance of charm and poise. After the photo, I retreated slightly, catching my breath. Fully her, every nerve, every instinct, demanded perfection. My reflection in a nearby mirror showed a stranger and a version of myself intertwined, the delicate lines of the dress, the perfectly styled hair, the makeup-enhancing features I barely recognized. Fully her. This wasn't just a performance. It was an exploration of identity, of vulnerability, and of courage. Then came the first slip, a slight misstep on the heels. My heart leapt as I regained balance, posture perfect, a soft laugh to mask the panic. Fully her, control under pressure, elegance amidst uncertainty. Jake grinned, proud, amused, watching the tension and thrill play across my face. Each step forward was a negotiation between fear and excitement, between exposure and control. The night progressed, and the dares escalated. Fully her, maintaining composure while engaging in conversations, dancing, and playful interactions. Each glance from strangers, each smile, each touch was a test of my ability to embody the persona fully. I felt exhilarated, yet terrified, aware that one slip could expose the dual identity I had barely begun to understand. At one point, I excused myself to the restroom, seeking a moment of privacy. Fully her. My reflection stared back, a stranger and an ally at once. Makeup smudged slightly, hair slightly disheveled, yet poise maintained. I caught my breath, heart racing, hands shaking slightly. Could I sustain this act for the remainder of the night? Could I navigate the social minefield without revealing the secret hidden beneath the exterior? I heard footsteps approaching. Fully her, alert, poised, graceful. I turned slightly, hiding the panic. It was another partygoer, curious yet unaware of the stakes. I smiled, exchanged polite words, laughter delicate and controlled. Fully her, the act of survival, performance, and identity continued. The culmination of the night approached. Jake gathered everyone for a toast, raising a glass. To Arav, for fully embracing the dare and showing us all just what fully her can mean. Laughter and applause echoed around me. My pulse surged, a cocktail of pride, embarrassment, and fear. Fully her, I bowed slightly, smile radiant, voice soft but confident, basking in the thrill while maintaining control. Then came the real challenge. Emma's attention, unwavering, probing, questioning. Fully her. Every gesture, every word, had to maintain the persona. She approached, eyes scanning, lips twitching in amusement and curiosity. "So, this is you tonight?" she asked softly, voice teasing but sharp. My heart raced. Fully her demanded poise, elegance, and subtle charm. "Yes," I whispered, voice steady, smile practiced, maintaining balance between vulnerability and confidence. The night's tension reached a peak. Fully her, every laugh, every movement, every glance was a test. Could I navigate the growing complexity of social interactions, the dares escalating in intensity, and the scrutiny of friends and strangers alike? Could I sustain the illusion without faltering, without revealing the hidden truths of identity and desire? As I stepped back into the crowd, adjusting the dress and smoothing my hair, I noticed a shadow from the corner of my eye. Jake's smirk widened. Someone was observing me intently, someone whose presence threatened to unravel the delicate balance I had created. Fully her, every heartbeat screamed a warning. The real test was about to begin. The shadow lingered, a presence that unsettled me despite the music, laughter, and chatter. Fully her, I forced myself to straighten my posture, smooth my dress, and adopt a confident, playful smile. The persona had to remain unbroken. My heart pounded, not just from the heels, the makeup, or the dress, but from the feeling that I was being watched more closely than ever. Jake, of course, noticed. His smirk was almost predatory, like a coach watching an athlete struggle through a new routine. "You're doing great," he whispered, "but let's see how long you can hold it." Fully her, poise, charm, and subtle confidence had to be maintained under this growing pressure. I nodded, smiling, while internally bracing for the next wave of scrutiny. A group of girls approached, curious and chatting animatedly. "I love your dress. Where did you get it?" one asked, genuine admiration in her voice. Fully her, grace under attention, subtle charm, delicate confidence. I responded with a soft laugh, detailing the shopping trip Jake's sister had orchestrated for me. The thrill of the deception surged through me, a heady mix of fear and exhilaration. As the conversation continued, I felt the first pangs of physical discomfort. The dress clung in ways I wasn't used to. The heels pinched slightly, and my balance wavered with every step. Fully her, graceful navigation of discomfort, maintaining elegance despite physical limitations. I adjusted subtly, every move calculated, every gesture controlled, projecting an effortless persona that belied the chaos inside. Jake's next dare arrived in whispers and nudges.
Dance. Now.
Show them fully her. Panic mingled with excitement. Dancing, an intimate, vulnerable act, demanded full embodiment of the persona. I felt every eye on me as I moved into the center of the floor. Fully her, poise, elegance, subtle confidence. Each movement, each sway of the hips, each delicate turn of the head was a test of control, performance, and emotional courage. The music shifted to a faster beat, and I struggled to maintain the balance in the heels. Fully her, confidence, elegance, and subtle seduction mingled in every step. My heart raced, adrenaline surged, and yet there was a strange thrill in the vulnerability. Could I sustain this act in front of a crowd, with every detail scrutinized, every misstep magnified? Then came the unexpected. A male friend of Jake's, clearly curious, approached. "Hey, mind if I join you?" His tone was casual, but his eyes lingered, evaluating. Fully her, poise, elegance, and social grace demanded a response that balanced friendliness with subtle allure. I nodded, gestured with a soft smile, and moved with fluidity to include him in the dance. Each step, each glance, each laugh had to be calculated, maintaining the delicate illusion of confidence. The whisper of vulnerability grew louder as the party intensified. Fully her, every laugh, every gesture, every heartbeat reminded me of the stakes. One misstep, one slip, one accidental glance at a revealing part of my transformation could undo hours of careful preparation. Yet, there was a strange exhilaration in the risk, a thrill in balancing fear and excitement in equal measure. Emma's attention remained a constant pressure. Fully her, every word, every gesture, every laugh had to navigate her scrutiny. She approached again, soft smile teasing, eyes probing. "You're really pulling this off," she whispered. Fully her, confidence and charm had to be balanced with vulnerability, a performance that convinced both herself and me that I was truly inhabiting this persona. The party's chaos escalated. Drinks spilled, laughter grew louder, conversations overlapped. Fully her, maintaining poise amidst chaos became the ultimate test. Every step required balance, every gesture required intention, and every glance demanded awareness. I felt a strange duality, a tension between the thrill of the transformation and the terror of exposure. Then came another test, a dare that pushed boundaries. Jake leaned close, whispering, "Go flirt with him. Really sell it." The target, unaware of the dare's stakes, smiled innocently. Fully her, confidence, charm, allure, poise. My heart raced, adrenaline surged, and yet, each movement felt natural. I leaned in slightly, laughed softly, let gestures flow with subtle grace. Every word, every glance was a calculated risk, a dance of control and surrender. The intensity of scrutiny, the thrill of performance, and the fear of exposure combined to create a heady storm. Fully her, every fiber of my being was engaged, balancing identity, vulnerability, and social expectation. The night felt endless, a test of endurance, courage, and emotional fortitude. A quiet moment arrived, and I stole a glance in a mirror near the punch table. Fully her, I studied my reflection, a stranger and a version of myself intertwined. The dress clung, hair flowed, makeup accentuated, and heels elevated. I felt the duality acutely, confidence and fear, thrill and vulnerability, self and persona. Could I sustain this for the remainder of the night? A sudden movement in the corner of my eye froze me. Someone new had entered the room, a stranger whose gaze lingered too long, too knowingly. Fully her, poise and elegance had to hold, but internally, every nerve screamed a warning. The next challenge was arriving, and it threatened to unravel the careful balance I had maintained all night. The stranger lingered near the doorway, observing with an intensity that made my skin crawl. Fully her, I straightened, smoothed the dress, and forced the practiced smile that had carried me this far. Every movement had to appear natural, effortless, even while adrenaline surged through me. My heart thumped in my chest, heels shifting slightly on the floor as I moved. Jake leaned close, whispering, "That's Alex. He's curious. Let's see how fully her handles real attention." Fully her, poise, charm, confidence. I nodded subtly, keeping my focus outward while internally bracing for the challenge. My hands trembled ever so slightly, hidden beneath the folds of the dress. Alex approached, a mischievous smile tugging at the corners of his lips. "Hi, nice dress," he said casually, but there was a glint of curiosity in his eyes that unnerved me. Fully her, I laughed softly, voice measured and light, maintaining the persona I had painstakingly built. "Thanks," I replied, a gentle tilt of the head adding subtle charm. Every movement had to convey elegance, confidence, and subtle allure without giving away my inner turmoil. The conversation flowed, small talk at first, escalating to flirtation as Jake encouraged. Fully her, every word, every gesture, every laugh had to be calculated, balancing vulnerability with performance. My heart raced, adrenaline surging, yet there was an unexpected thrill in navigating this delicate social dance. Could I sustain this act without faltering, without revealing the hidden truths beneath my exterior? Then came the dare, a challenge that pushed me further than I had anticipated. Jake nudged me, whispering, "Dance with him. Really sell it." Panic clawed at my chest, yet excitement shimmered beneath the fear. Fully her, poise, charm, subtle seduction. I stepped onto the dance floor, every movement deliberate, every step measured, balancing the weight of the heels and the flow of the dress. The music pulsed, a rhythmic challenge that mirrored the storm of emotions within me. Fully her, each sway, each turn, each glance had to appear effortless, even while anxiety gnawed at the edges of my consciousness. Alex's eyes lingered, curiosity sharpening into genuine intrigue. The thrill of being observed, the danger of exposure, the exhilaration of performing, every sensation collided in a heady storm of emotion. Emma's presence remained a constant, silent pressure. Fully her, every interaction had to navigate her attention, balancing vulnerability and performance. She watched, eyes sharp, lips twitching in amusement and curiosity. Could she sense the struggle beneath the poise? Did she notice the tremor in my hands, the quickened heartbeat, the subtle hesitation in my movements? Fully her, control, grace, and charm had to prevail, no matter how frayed the edges of confidence became. Then came a misstep, literally. My heel caught the edge of the floor, and I stumbled slightly. Fully her, I laughed softly, maintaining balance and poise, hiding the panic. Jake's eyes glimmered with pride and amusement. "Perfectly human," he whispered, the thrill of the dare, of the challenge, of the performance intensifying. Each recovery, each gesture, each laugh reinforced the duality I was living, the outward persona and the hidden self, intertwined and delicate. The night's dares escalated further. Fully her, every touch, every glance, every word was a test of endurance, of courage, of emotional control. The line between self and persona blurred, a thrilling yet terrifying experience. Could I continue this act without faltering, without revealing the hidden truths I had so carefully concealed? A quiet moment offered a glimpse of vulnerability. I stole a glance in a mirror, observing the transformation fully. The dress clung to curves I had never acknowledged, makeup highlighted features I barely recognized, and heels elevated both body and confidence. Fully her, the reflection was a stranger, an ally, a challenge. Could I maintain this delicate balance under the growing pressures of attention, expectation, and desire? Suddenly, a hand touched my arm, a reminder of proximity and exposure. Alex's touch was light, almost casual, but my pulse spiked. Fully her, grace, charm, and subtle allure had to mask the inner chaos. I smiled, laughed softly, and continued the conversation, voice steady, movements fluid. Each interaction, each touch, each glance was a calculated risk, a delicate dance of control and vulnerability. The intensity built as the night approached its peak. Fully her. Navigating conversations, social tests, dares, and scrutiny required every ounce of focus, every particle of courage. The thrill of the transformation, the fear of exposure, the exhilaration of performance coalesced into a potent storm of emotion. Just as I thought I had regained control, Emma's gaze sharpened, her eyes narrowing slightly. Fully her. Every nerve screamed warning. Someone had noticed something unusual. My heart raced, pulse hammering against my chest. Could I maintain the illusion, or was the secret about to unravel in front of everyone? The tightening knot in my stomach refused to loosen. Fully her, I forced a soft smile, adjusting the dress and brushing a strand of hair behind my ear. Emma's gaze lingered, sharp and piercing, as if she were piecing together a puzzle I desperately wanted to remain hidden. The room seemed to shrink, every noise amplified, the chatter of the party, the clinking of glasses, the soft thump of music vibrating through the floor. Jake appeared at my side, whispering, "Just a few more dares. Then it's over if you survive." Fully her, poise, charm, and subtle confidence had to mask the anxiety threatening to spill over. Each step, each gesture, each laugh was carefully measured, balancing fear and excitement. I nodded, voice steady, though inside, a storm of nerves raged. The next dare approached, an intimate challenge that sent adrenaline surging through me. "Sing," Jake prompted, in front of everyone. Fully her. Panic clawed at my chest. Singing required vulnerability, exposure. Fully her, confidence, elegance, and subtle allure. I swallowed hard, approached the small circle of attention, and let the persona take over. Voice soft, clear, and feminine, I sang a few lines of a light-hearted song. The thrill of performing, the fear of exposure, and the exhilaration of transformation collided, leaving me breathless. Alex leaned closer, a curious smile playing on his lips. Fully her, every glance, every gesture, every laugh had to maintain the delicate illusion. I engaged him in conversation, subtly flirted, and allowed gestures of elegance to flow naturally. Each interaction was a test of control, poise, and emotional endurance. Could I sustain this delicate balance for the remainder of the night? The dares intensified. Fully her, dance, sing, flirt, charm, and entertain. The physical demands of the heels, the dress, and the movement strained my body, but the emotional tension pressed harder. Every laugh, every glance, every slip of the tongue carried the potential for exposure. Fully her, I balanced the fine line between fear and exhilaration, vulnerability and control. Then came the unexpected obstacle. Emma's friend approached, keen eyes glancing between us, suspicion barely veiled. Fully her, poise, elegance, subtle allure. I laughed softly, engaged in polite conversation, and navigated the social minefield with careful gestures. My pulse raced, and a bead of sweat traced my temple. Could I maintain the facade without faltering? A misstep, a heel snagged again, sent a surge of panic through me. Fully her, I recovered gracefully, smooth smile intact, composure unbroken. The room's attention remained fixed, unaware of the inner chaos. Each recovery, each laugh, each glance reinforced the delicate duality, outward charm, hidden vulnerability. The final challenge approached. Jake leaned close, whispering, "One more and it's over. But make it count." Fully her, every fiber of my being tensed. The dare, to approach the crowd, charm them, flirt, and dance, all at once. Panic flared, but excitement shimmered beneath the fear. Every step, every gesture, every glance required full embodiment of the persona. Music shifted. Fully her. I stepped into the center, heels clicking against the floor, dress flowing, hair perfectly framed. The room's attention centered on me, unaware of the hours of preparation, the anxiety, the hidden identity beneath the surface. I moved with elegance, laughed lightly, and let gestures flow naturally. Alex joined subtly, eyes lingering, curiosity blending with amusement. Emma's gaze remained fixed, a mixture of amusement, admiration, and suspicion. Fully her, every smile, every tilt of the head, every sway of the hips had to maintain the illusion. I felt the weight of scrutiny, the thrill of performance, the terror of exposure intertwining. Could I sustain the act through the remainder of the night? A sudden, unexpected sound, a dropped glass, a startled gasp, made my heart jump. Fully her, I managed a soft laugh, adjusted my posture, and continued the act seamlessly. Every movement, every gesture, every glance was a balancing act, an intricate dance of control, vulnerability, and calculated charm. Just as I began to feel I could survive the night, Emma's eyes widened. She whispered something to Jake, a barely audible murmur, but the intent was clear. She had noticed something that could unravel everything I had struggled to maintain. Fully her, poise, charm, and subtle elegance would be tested like never before. The next move could change everything. The room seemed to tilt around me, music and laughter fading into a distant hum as I focused on Emma's sharp, narrowed gaze. Fully her, I straightened my posture, smoothed the dress, and forced a calm smile. Inside, panic clawed at my chest, threatening to undo the delicate balance I had maintained all night. Every movement, every gesture, every word had to be perfect. Jake's smirk was nearly unbearable. "Looks like someone's getting serious," he whispered, his eyes glittering with mischief. Fully her, I nodded subtly, voice steady, gestures fluid, while the storm of anxiety surged beneath the surface. My heart raced, adrenaline pulsed, and yet there was a thrill in the danger. Could I survive this final test without faltering? Emma stepped closer, her eyes searching mine with an intensity that made my knees weak. "You're really good at this," she murmured, her tone both amused and suspicious. Fully her, poise, charm, and subtle allure had to mask the truth. I laughed softly, a gentle, confident sound, and leaned slightly, letting the persona exude elegance and charm. The subtle sway of my hips, the tilt of my head, the playful sparkle in my eyes, all fully her, all perfectly measured. Then came the first major obstacle. Alex approached, a mischievous glint in his eyes. "Mind if I join in?" he asked, stepping into the circle. Fully her, I forced a calm, graceful nod, maintaining the act as I integrated him into the social dance. Each movement, each word, each glance required precise calculation, balancing confidence with vulnerability. Could I maintain this illusion under multiple eyes, scrutiny from both Emma and the stranger, and Jake's ever-present challenge? The dare escalated. Jake whispered, "Sing with him. Make it believable." Panic flared. Singing required exposure, vulnerability. Fully her, I took a deep breath, allowed my posture to remain elegant, and began a soft duet. Each note, each glance, each laugh was a test of control, poise, and emotional endurance. The room watched, unaware of the struggle beneath the surface, each observer a potential threat to the fragile balance I clung to. Emma's presence weighed heavily. Fully her, I maintained charm, elegance, and subtle allure, even while my hands trembled slightly and my pulse raced. She watched, keen eyes capturing every nuance, and for a terrifying moment, I felt the persona crack. Could I continue, or would the truth spill in a moment of weakness? Jake's next dare pushed me further. "Dance closer. Let him feel the confidence." Fully her, every step, every movement, every gesture had to balance elegance, allure, and poise. The music swelled, bodies swayed, and the world blurred into a whirl of sensation. He leaned closer, his attention fixed, while I maintained the performance with careful charm. Heart pounding, breath shallow, yet there was a strange exhilaration in this dangerous game. A slip, a heel snagged, sent a jolt of panic through me. Fully her, I laughed softly, recovered gracefully, and continued the act seamlessly. Jake's eyes gleamed with approval, but Emma's gaze deepened, suspicion and curiosity intertwining. Fully her, each recovery, each movement, each gesture was a balancing act of control and vulnerability. The social stakes intensified. Fully her, I engaged multiple observers simultaneously, maintaining charm, grace, and subtle seduction while hiding the chaos beneath. Every word had to be measured, every gesture precise, every glance intentional. The thrill of performance mixed with fear of exposure, creating a heady storm of emotion. Then came the critical moment. Emma whispered to Jake, and I caught fragments of the words. Something about noticing too much, something off, the truth. Fully her, poise, charm, and subtle elegance had to mask the rising panic. My pulse spiked, breath quickened, and I realized the secret I had fought to protect all night was at risk. Jake's grin widened. Looks like the game's heating up, he murmured. Fully her, I nodded, gestures fluid, voice calm, while inside, panic and thrill collided. Every step, every sway, every glance required perfection. Could I survive this escalating tension, protect the secret, and maintain the fragile persona I had built? The room spun as the dares intensified. Fully her, singing, dancing, charming, entertaining, everything became a test of endurance and emotional control. Every observer, every glance, every gesture had the potential to unravel the illusion. My heart raced, breath shallow, and adrenaline surged as I pushed through the fear. A sudden crash, a knocked-over drink, echoed through the room. Heads turned instantly, eyes locking on me. Fully her, poise and charm had to hold, but my heart sank. Would this minor slip expose the truth I had fought so hard to conceal? The sudden crash of the glass sent my heart lurching into my throat. Fully her, I forced a calm laugh, letting the persona absorb the attention. Every head in the room had turned toward me, eyes sharp, curious, evaluating. I straightened, heels clicking softly against the floor, dress flowing, hair perfectly framing my face. Fully her, poise, charm, and subtle elegance had to mask the inner panic. Jake's grin widened. Nice recovery, he whispered, leaning close. Fully her, I nodded subtly, smiled softly, and allowed the performance to continue seamlessly. Every step, every tilt of the head, every soft laugh had to maintain the illusion while hiding the turmoil beneath. My pulse raced, and sweat prickled my temples, but outwardly, the act was flawless. Emma's gaze remained fixed, sharper than ever. Fully her, I responded with charm, a tilt of the head, a subtle sway of the hips. Could she sense the tension beneath the surface? Did she see through the layers of performance, the carefully crafted persona, the hidden fear? Every word, every gesture, every glance was a delicate balancing act. Alex stepped closer, whispering a playful comment that drew a soft, measured laugh from me. Fully her, I engaged, smiled, and maintained the act while internally calculating every move. One wrong word, one subtle hesitation, and the fragile balance could shatter. The thrill of performance mixed with the fear of exposure, creating a heady storm in my chest. Jake's next instruction was subtle but terrifying. Lead the dance. Charm them all. Fully her, grace, elegance, subtle allure. I stepped onto the small dance floor, heels clicking against the polished wood, every movement deliberate, every gesture measured. Music pulsed through the room, and all eyes lingered on me. My heart hammered, adrenaline surged, and the world narrowed into the performance. Emma whispered something to a friend, glancing back at me with narrowed eyes. Fully her, I smiled softly, laughed lightly, tilted my head with grace. The persona had to remain flawless, even under scrutiny. Each step, each glance, each sway was a test of endurance, control, and subtle seduction. Could I maintain this for the remainder of the night without faltering? Then came the twist, an unexpected obstacle. Alex reached for my hand, intending to pull me into a closer dance. Fully her poise, charm, and subtle allure had to mask the panic racing through me. Heart pounding, I allowed the hand to be taken, moving with calculated fluidity, every gesture precise. Sweat prickled my spine. Adrenaline surged, but outwardly, the act remained seamless. Emma's sharp gaze never wavered. Fully her, I smiled, laughed softly, allowed subtle flirtation to flow naturally. The thrill of the dare, the fear of exposure, and the exhilaration of transformation collided in a whirlwind of emotion. Could I keep the illusion intact under such scrutiny, with every move a potential trigger for suspicion? A sudden jostle, a playful bump from the crowd, sent a ripple of panic through me. Fully her, I steadied, laughed lightly, adjusted the dress, and continued moving with grace. Jake's approving grin reassured me slightly, but Emma's narrowed eyes reminded me that the secret was still in danger. Each recovery, each smile, each gesture reinforced the fragile duality I was living, the outward persona and the hidden self. The night escalated further. Fully her, I danced, sang, charmed, and entertained, every action meticulously calculated. Alex's attention lingered, curiosity sharpening, while Emma's scrutiny grew. Could I maintain this act without revealing the truth, without allowing the persona to crack under pressure? Every glance, every laugh, every tilt of the head had to remain flawless. Then came the pivotal moment. Fully her, I faced Emma directly, smile soft, posture perfect, charm intact. A subtle challenge lingered in her eyes, a test of my control, my composure, my ability to maintain the illusion. Could I respond with grace, with poise, with subtle elegance, while hiding the storm of anxiety beneath? The room seemed to hold its breath. Suddenly, a whisper from Emma, just loud enough for me to hear. I think I know your secret. Fully her. I froze, heart hammering, adrenaline spiking. Could the carefully crafted persona survive this revelation, or was everything about to unravel in front of everyone? Emma's whisper echoed in my ears, sending a jolt of panic straight to my chest. I think I know your secret. Fully her. I forced a soft laugh, straightened my posture, and kept my smile gentle and poised. The room's music and chatter faded into a dull roar, replaced by the pounding of my own heartbeat. Each breath felt shallow, adrenaline surging, but outwardly, every gesture remained flawless. Jake's eyes sparkled with amusement. Looks like the game just got interesting, he murmured. Fully her, I nodded subtly, laughter light, voice steady, as the persona took over completely. Every movement, every sway, every tilt of the head had to maintain elegance, charm, and subtle allure, concealing the storm of fear and exhilaration beneath. Alex lingered close, curiosity etched in his expression. Fully her, I allowed gentle flirtation, soft smiles, and playful gestures, all while my mind calculated every step, every word, every possible outcome. Could I navigate this escalating scrutiny without a single slip? The challenge was no longer just the dare, it was the looming threat of discovery. The next dare approached, a social interaction that required full confidence and poise, a delicate balance of charm, allure, and subtle humor. Fully her, I stepped forward, heels clicking softly, dress flowing, hair perfectly in place. My voice rang clear and feminine as I engaged a small group in light conversation, masking the chaos within. Every word, every laugh, every glance was a careful performance, a mask to protect the secret I had fought to maintain. Then came the obstacle I hadn't expected. Emma leaned closer, her gaze sharp, a barely perceptible smirk forming on her lips. Fully her, I laughed lightly, tilted my head, and moved with elegance, but my pulse hammered like a drum. Could she truly sense the duality, the hidden identity behind the persona? Panic prickled, but adrenaline fueled the performance. Jake's whispers pushed the tension higher. Time for the final test. One more dare, show your confidence fully. Fully her, I took a deep breath, forcing a calm, elegant stance. The crowd's attention narrowed on me, all eyes anticipating, unaware of the delicate act I was performing beneath the surface. My heart raced, breath shallow, but outwardly, I was perfect. Charm, poise, and subtle allure radiated in every motion. A sudden brush against my arm, a spilled drink, sent another jolt of panic. Fully her, I laughed softly, brushed it off with elegance, recovered seamlessly. The thrill and fear intertwined, every heartbeat a reminder of the stakes. Emma's sharp eyes never wavered, observing, analyzing, perhaps closer than ever to the truth. The next dare required physical coordination, a dance with multiple partners, charm, elegance, and subtle seduction intertwined. Fully her, I moved gracefully, heels clicking in rhythm, dress flowing, body balancing poise and allure. Every gesture had to remain perfect, every laugh measured, every glance precise. The social pressure was immense, the emotional stakes higher than ever. Then came the ultimate obstacle. Fully her, I faced Emma, head slightly tilted, smile soft, posture elegant. Her gaze held a mixture of suspicion, amusement, and curiosity. She whispered something again, just loud enough for me to catch fragments. Too perfect, something's off. My stomach dropped, adrenaline spiked. Could I maintain the illusion under her scrutiny? Or was the secret about to unravel? Jake leaned close, whispering one last prompt. Charm them all. Leave no doubts. Fully her, I smiled, laughed lightly, moved with calculated elegance, balancing fear, excitement, and performance. The weight of scrutiny pressed on every movement, but the persona held. Every step, every sway, every tilt of the head was critical. One misstep could expose everything. The music slowed, a soft spotlight illuminating the small dance floor. Fully her, I took a deep breath, extended a hand toward Alex, and stepped into the final dance. The room watched, whispers flowing, attention fixed. Emma's eyes followed each motion, her expression unreadable. Could I survive this ultimate test without revealing the hidden self beneath the carefully crafted exterior? Suddenly, Emma stepped forward, stopping just a foot away. I want the truth, she whispered, eyes locking onto mine. Fully her, I froze for a heartbeat, every muscle tense, knowing the next word, the next gesture, could determine whether the secret survived or shattered before everyone. Emma's eyes bore into mine, every glance stripping away the layers of charm and elegance I had meticulously built. I want the truth, she whispered, voice low but charged with intensity. Fully her, I froze for a heartbeat, heart hammering, every muscle tensed. The room seemed to fade into a blur. All that mattered was this moment. Could I maintain the persona and protect the secret, or was it finally slipping away? Jake's grin widened, sensing the tension. Looks like the finale is here, he murmured, leaning close. Fully her, I tilted my head, a soft, controlled laugh escaping my lips, attempting to maintain poise while the storm inside threatened to erupt. My pulse raced, hands slightly trembling, but outwardly every gesture radiated elegance, charm, and subtle allure. Alex's presence complicated matters further. Fully her, I moved with careful grace, swaying slightly in rhythm with the soft music, every glance, every smile, every word calculated. The thrill of performing under scrutiny, the fear of exposure, the exhilaration of the dare, all collided in a tempest of emotion. Could I hold the act through this ultimate confrontation? Emma stepped closer, a barely perceptible smirk on her lips. You've been hiding something, she murmured. Fully her, I kept the smile light, posture perfect, voice soft but steady. Just having fun, I replied, letting charm mask the panic. Each word, each gesture, each laugh was critical. One misstep could unravel everything. Jake's whispered prompt pushed the pressure higher. Show full confidence. No cracks. Fully her, I nodded subtly, smiled gentle, and extended my hand toward Emma. Dance, charm, and allure intertwined perfectly with my carefully crafted persona. The secret lay beneath, fragile and vulnerable, but the performance had to remain flawless. Then came the physical challenge, maintaining balance in heels while maneuvering gracefully across the small dance floor with Emma's eyes fixed on me. Fully her, I felt the surge of adrenaline, heartbeat pounding, as each step tested poise, charm, and subtle elegance. The dress swayed, hair fell slightly over my shoulders, but a graceful tilt of the head restored perfection. Emma whispered again, voice teasing yet sharp, "You've changed, but why?" Fully her, I laughed softly, brushed the hair back, and allowed subtle flirtation to mask the truth. The tension was electric, almost tangible. Every movement became a negotiation between fear, exhilaration, and performance. Could I continue without revealing the dual life beneath? Jake's voice cut through subtly, final pose. Charm them all. Fully her, I took a deep breath, extended my hand elegantly, and moved to the center of the floor. Music swelled, eyes followed, and I became the persona completely. Poise, elegance, allure. All perfectly measured while the secret trembled just beneath the surface. Then the ultimate symbolic moment. Fully her, I spun slightly, and a misstep caused a heel to slip. The dress shifted just enough for a fleeting glimpse of vulnerability. Heart racing, adrenaline spiking, I caught the hem, smiled, and continued flawlessly. Jake's approving smirk met mine, but Emma's eyes widened, curiosity and suspicion intertwined. Could the secret survive this moment of exposed vulnerability? Finally, the emotional peak. Fully her, I faced Emma directly, maintaining charm and grace, while every fiber of my being screamed with fear and anticipation. Could I survive the scrutiny, keep the secret hidden, and finish the dare without shattering the delicate balance? Every heartbeat was a countdown, every breath measured, every glance critical. Emma leaned closer, voice a whisper, almost a challenge. One more word, and I'll know everything. Fully her, I froze, realizing that the final moment of truth was about to arrive. Would the persona hold, or would the secret explode into the open in front of everyone? Time seemed to slow as Emma's whisper lingered in the air. One more word, and I'll know everything. Fully her, I froze, a smile perfectly in place while adrenaline surged through every nerve. My heartbeat thundered in my ears, yet outwardly, I remained elegant, poised, and charming. The room around me blurred. The music, the chatter, the lights, all faded into the background. There was only this moment, this knife edge of suspense. Jake leaned back slightly, a smirk playing on his lips. Looks like we've reached the finale, he murmured. Fully her, I nodded subtly, letting the persona take complete control. Charm, poise, and subtle allure radiated from every movement, every smile, every gesture. But inside, a storm raged. Fear of exposure, thrill of the dare, and exhilaration of living fully in this feminine form. Emma's gaze locked with mine, searching, piercing, unrelenting. Fully her, I tilted my head slightly, letting soft laughter escape, voice gentle and measured. You're imagining things, I whispered lightly, hiding the tremor in my hands. Each breath was deliberate, each movement calculated, every flicker of the eyes a careful mask over the panic threatening to surface. The crowd remained unaware of the silent battle raging between us. Fully her, I stepped lightly forward, heels clicking softly, dress swaying with calculated elegance. Every eye followed, drawn to charm, allure, and confidence, oblivious to the secret tension beneath. But Emma's scrutiny was unrelenting. Could I survive this final test? Then came a small, accidental gesture, a hand brushing against hers as I passed. Fully her, I smiled, drew back with graceful poise, yet my pulse raced and breath hitched ever so slightly. Emma's eyes flickered, a hint of realization dancing across her face. My mind raced. One wrong word, one hesitation, and the secret could unravel in front of everyone. Jake leaned closer, whispering one last push. Finish it strong. Hold it together. Fully her, I straightened, lifted my chin, and moved with elegance across the floor. Every sway of the hips, every tilt of the head, every laugh and soft glance had to be perfect. The persona, crafted through weeks of daring and transformation, had to survive this ultimate scrutiny. Emma's voice broke the silence, calm but sharp. Are you really who you appear to be? Fully her. I froze for a heartbeat, then smiled, soft but carefully measured, eyes glinting with subtle defiance. Of course, I whispered, tone light yet guarded. The persona held for now, but the tension was electric, palpable. The room seemed to hold its breath. Fully her, I glanced briefly at Jake, catching a wink of reassurance. Then, as I turned, a sudden disturbance, a dropped glass, laughter from a nearby table, the room's ambient noise returning in waves. My focus wavered for a split second. Could that tiny lapse reveal the truth? Could Emma finally see beyond the mask? Every instinct screamed caution. Fully her, I smoothed my dress, adjusted my hair, allowed a soft laugh to flow naturally. Charm, poise, elegance. The persona was flawless on the surface, but inside, my heart raced and fingers trembled ever so slightly. The thrill of the dare intertwined with fear of discovery, each sensation amplified by the eyes watching me so closely. Emma leaned slightly closer, her gaze narrowing, lips curving into a subtle, unreadable smile. Fully her, I laughed softly, tilt of the head gentle, posture perfect, every movement designed to keep the secret hidden. And yet, the whisper of her voice, a mere fragment, echoed in my mind. I think I'm seeing something different. A sudden jolt of realization hit me. Fully her, I realized that the performance, the dare, the transformation, and my hidden identity were teetering on the edge. One more misstep, one flicker of panic, and the truth could explode in front of everyone. The suspense became unbearable, heart-pounding, breath-shallow. Yet outwardly, I remained the perfect version of her, charming, elegant, and radiant. Then came the final, unspoken challenge, a glance exchanged between Emma and Jake. Fully her, I caught the subtle signal, a silent cue that the next moment would define whether the secret survived or shattered. Could I maintain the illusion, charm, and poise under the ultimate scrutiny, or was the truth finally going to surface in front of everyone? Emma leaned in, eyes locked on mine, whispering just loud enough. I need to know, or everything changes. Fully her, I froze mid-step, the room spinning around me, the secret hanging by a fragile thread. Would I confess, continue the act, or risk everything on one final calculated move? The answer lingered, unresolved, leaving everyone, including the audience, on the edge of suspense.